what we want is appropriate effort. When we apply maximum effort, we often end up, first of all, using muscles that we don't need to do, which creates tension, and perhaps more importantly, constantly strengthening the muscles that are stronger, and not finding a way for the weaker muscles to assert themselves. So that's the theory behind what I'm after today. We'll begin in constructive rest pose. Letting the body relax down into the floor, knees bent so the soles of the feet are on the floor. Relax the legs. Bring the attention to the back of the pelvis. Let the sacrum broaden on the floor like you're spreading your back pockets out. Relax the belly. Feel the neutral lower back curve. Open the upper back by spreading the shoulder blades out, taking the arms comfortably away from the mat with the palms up. Relaxing the neck, relaxing the face, and allowing the back of the head to drop down into the floor. I'm going to start with the Abdominal Star, which you are familiar with. The reason that I don't always use it is that it actually has a little excess effort in it. It's not all of the parts of it are always necessary, but we're going to start by engaging it and then subtract. So we're going to picture an asterisk resting on the belly. The vertical line is from the pubic bone up to the sternum. The horizontal line across the front of the hips. And then the two diagonal lines reach from one side of the rib cage down to the opposite hip point, and then the other side of the rib cage down to its opposite hip point. So picture that asterisk resting on the belly. As you inhale, have that asterisk in your mind's eye. And then as you exhale, shrink all of the points down towards the low center, feeling the whole asterisk shrink down towards its center. And then with the inhale, let that go. Take a completely relaxed exhale. Release into gravity. No excess work in the body. And then prepare for the Abdominal Star again. Inhale. Picture the star. And exhale. Shrink it down towards its center. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Keep the face relaxed. And inhale. Relax. The Abdominal Star. And give into gravity. Do nothing as you exhale. One more time like that. Inhale, picture the asterisk resting on the front of the belly. Exhale, shrink it down towards its center. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Inhale, relax the effort. And exhale, give into gravity. Do nothing. And bring your arms down closer to the sides. We're going to use the Abdominal Star to stabilize the neutral spine, the neutral pelvis as we do arm lifts. Now take your inhale and float the arms up to vertical. And with the exhale, shrink the star and take your arms back towards the floor behind you, keeping your lower back in its neutral position, not allowing the pelvis to shift. Inhale, bring the arms up to vertical. And then as you exhale, bring the arms down and relax the effort of the shrinking of the star. Let's do that twice more. Inhale, arms float up to vertical. Exhale, shrink the star, reach the arms back towards the floor behind you. And inhale, bring the arms up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, relax the abdominal work. Lower the arms down to the sides. And one more time. Inhale, arms float up to vertical. Exhale, shrink the star and reach back. And inhale, arms come to vertical. Exhale, relax the work in the abdominals. Float the arms down to the sides and soften completely. Now we're going to bring the attention down to the pelvic floor and work quite specifically with the muscles of the pelvic floor. So return to your constructive rest with your arms a bit wider than the mat, palms up, shoulders relaxed. Feel your tailbone. Notice where the two sit bones are, and feel the pubic bone. Now we work with the pelvic diamond quite often in those same 4 points. I'm going to work with them a little bit differently. I'd like you to picture just the pubic bone and the tailbone for the moment. So there's a vertical line that moves down from the pubic bone to the tailbone, and we're going to engage on that vertical line. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, imagine pulling the pubic bone and the tailbone muscularly towards each other, not tilting the bones of the pelvis, just muscularly engaging that vertical line, and then relax that. The sphincters are on that line, so it's not too hard to make that contact. Let's do it twice more. With the exhale, shrink the pubic bone towards the tailbone and the tailbone towards the pubic bone without moving the bones, and then relax. We'll do it one more time. Attention at the pubic bone and the tailbone. With the exhale, shrink those 2 points towards each other, and then relax and soften. Now we're going to do the same thing with the horizontal line, connecting the 2 sit points to each other. This is a little bit more subtle, but in the idea of idiokinesis, even the imaging of a muscular effort is helpful. So even if you don't feel like you can quite connect with this, please stick with it. Inhale and picture those 2 sit bones. Then as you exhale, imagine drawing them towards each other. And then relax. And again, we're not moving our bones around at all, just working with the muscles in the pelvic floor. We're going to do that twice more. Exhale, shrink the 2 sit bones towards each other. And then relax with the inhale. And once again, exhale and shrink the 2 sit bones towards each other. And then relax with the inhale. Now, if we work with that horizontal line, we can think of the diamond being divided in half. The top half would be the pubic bone and the 2 sit bones, that triangle. And the bottom half is the triangle formed between the 2 sit bones and the tailbone. We're going to alternately engage those 2 triangles, the 2 halves from top to bottom of the pelvic floor. So picture the top of the pelvic floor as you inhale to begin. And then exhale, shrink just the top of the pelvic floor. And it's an experiment. If it doesn't feel like you can do it, please stick with it. And then relax, and then move your attention to the lower triangle, the bottom half of that diamond. And exhale, see if you can engage in the lower part of the pelvic diamond. Inhale, prepare for the top part again. And exhale, shrink the top part of the diamond. And then relax with the inhale, bring the attention to the lower half of the diamond, and exhale, find that triangle and engage. And then relax. We're doing each one more time. Inhale the top triangle. Exhale, shrink it down. And relax with inhale, move the attention to the bottom triangle. And exhale, shrink it down. And then relax. So the idea here is that we're trying to give all of the parts of the pelvic floor, even the weaker parts, a chance to take predominance. Now we're going to go from left to right. So we're focusing on that vertical line from the pubic bone down to the tailbone, and thinking of 2 triangles which are composed of the left side, the left sit bone in that vertical line, and the right side, the right sit bone and that vertical line. So let's go from left to right. Inhale, prepare for the left side of the pelvic floor. Exhale, shrink the left side down. And relax with the inhale, bring your attention to the right side of the pelvic floor. And exhale, shrink that side down. Maybe you notice a difference between the 2 sides. Inhale, prepare for the left side. Exhale, shrink it down. And inhale, relax. Exhale, go to the right side. Engage from the right sit bone to the tailbone to the pubic bone. And relax. One more time on each side. Inhale. Left side. Exhale, shrink it down. Inhale, prepare for the right side. And exhale, shrink it down. Okay, relax. Now we're putting the whole pelvic floor together. So whatever part was easiest to access, give the other part a head start as we engage the whole pelvic diamond. Inhale, prepare, picturing the whole diamond. And exhale, engage, starting with the weaker side and then gathering in towards the center with the whole diamond. And then relax. And again, exhale, start with the stronger side of the pelvic floor and then start with the weaker side and then add the stronger side. And then relax and release completely. We do it one more time. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, begin with the weaker side and then add the stronger side. Whole pelvic diamond engaged. And then relax. Okay, now bring your hands up onto your waist and we're going to go to transverses. So when we engage the transverses, the waist actually should stay soft. When you engage the waist, that's the obliques. So I'd like you to place your hands on your waist. Keep the muscles of the waist soft. Think of your belt underneath the muscles at the waist. And as you exhale, gather your transverses around. See if you can feel that snugging around the pelvis in an inward and 360 support without engaging at the waist or minimizing the engagement at the waist. And relax. And again, exhale, let that belt come snug 360 degrees around the whole torso, but without getting tone in the waist. It's tricky. And relax with the inhale, soften. One more time. Exhale, 360 degrees around the whole torso. Wrap it snugly around the pelvis, around the hips, and then relax. Bring your arms down to your sides, and we're going to do arm lifts with the pelvic floor and the transverses. So see if we can minimize any excess effort. Inhale, take the arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, the pelvic floor, just the belt, not the abdominal star, and reach back. It might feel a little bit different. Your ribs might be moving now. You might have to bend your arms. Inhale, arms float up, and exhale down. But guaranteed you're going to be working more strongly with your really deep foundational core muscles. Inhale, arms float up. Exhale, just the pelvic floor and the belt, and reach back. Make sure you've got that pelvic floor engaged, even the weaker muscles there. Inhale, arms float up. And then lower the arms down to the sides. One more time. Inhale, arms float up. And exhale, find the pelvic floor and the belt. Now we're going to keep the arms back there. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, engage the whole abdominal star. This is going to change things. You can draw your ribs down and together now. And then inhale, keeping the whole star working with the pelvic floor. Bring the arms to the ceiling, and then exhale, do a little head lift. And inhale, head down, arms up. And again, with exhale, lift the head, bring the arms towards the outside of the thighs. Inhale, head down, arms up. Engage the whole star and the pelvic floor and lift. Bring your hands behind your head. More effort in lifting the arms, or the head than the arms, so that's why we need more muscles engaged. And let's take a diagonal reach. As you exhale, take the left armpit towards the right knee. Inhale back to the center, and exhale the right armpit down towards the left knee. Feel that the diagonal line in the direction that you're moving is engaged. So you're reaching from your left ribs down to your right hip, and exhale. Bring the right armpit up and over towards the left knee, and inhale, center. Once again, exhale, and reach on the diagonal. Inhale to the center, and reach on the diagonal. And come to the center and relax. Bring the arms straight up towards vertical. Soften your shoulders. And clearly that movement takes a lot more muscles to do it than just engaging the pelvic floor. But we don't want to lose our core when we start doing bigger, more dramatic movements. Let's take your fingers on your low ribs and your thumbs on your low ribs, fingers on the front of the pelvis. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, find your abdominal star. Maintain your neutral and float your right foot up off of the floor. And lower it down, keeping the pelvis steady. Keep your abdominal star engaged. And take the left foot off the floor. Keep the pelvis steady. And lower back down. And relax. Soften. So we can do more with less. We're going to take out one of the strands of the abdominal star. Just rely on the inner core and one diagonal. those parts will work harder and the parts that we don't need will work less. So inhale, prepare. We're going to find the pelvic floor and the belt, and then reach your right ribs down towards your left back pocket. Keep your pelvis steady as you lift your right foot up off of the mat. Notice we are doing more with less. And then re-engage, foundation, the core. Take your left ribs down to your right back pocket. Keep the pelvis steady. And raise the foot up. The reason I say we're doing more is the diagonal strand that we need gets to work harder. Re-engage the inner core. Your transversus will be working more strongly. Take your right ribs to your left back pocket and float the right foot up and lower. And re-engage the low core. Take the left ribs to the right back pocket. Lift the left foot and lower. One more time like this on each leg. Re-engage the inner core. We really want to make sure that we're getting that belt wrapping around. That's what's going to help us get through the end of our time in our body. So we have a strong core and we can keep our backs healthy. Take your right ribs down to your left back pocket. Lift the right foot up and lower. And keep engaging the inner core. Take the left ribs down to the right back pocket and take the left side up, and lower back down. And then relax. Okay, let's take a small ball or a folded towel, put it between the knees. Keeping the upper body relaxed. Take an inhale. As you exhale, engage first the weaker side of the pelvic floor, then the stronger. Then wrap your belt around and then squeeze on the ball. And then relax the squeeze in the ball. And again. Weaker side of the pelvic floor first. Wrap the belt and then squeeze on the ball. And then relax. Once again, weaker side of the pelvic floor first. Wrap the belt around and squeeze on the ball. Now maintain the squeeze on the ball. Think of the line from your tailbone to your pubic bone and then pull your pubic bone towards your belly button. Flattening the back and tilting the pelvis. And then release that. Back to neutral, relax the squeeze on the ball. Anchor, inhale, weaker part of the pelvic floor first. Wrap the belt, squeeze the ball. Pull from tailbone to pubic bone to navel, and then feel your pelvis tilt, your lower back flatten, and then release that. One more time. Weaker side of the pelvic floor first, then wrap the belt, squeeze on the ball, tilt the pelvis. Now keep that lower back pressing down. Reach your ribs on the diagonal to the opposite back pockets and imprint your back ribs so that you can lift your feet up off of the floor. Then we're going to bring the arms towards the side. We still have a flat back. We're going to re-engage around the lower back with the belt and then move the knees out just slightly so we have a neutral spine. And we're going into the 100 here with the ball between the knees. Find the weaker side of the pelvic floor, then the stronger one. Wrap the belt around your neutral. Wrap your ribs to your opposite back pockets. Imprint the back ribs as you press your hands down. Give a gentle squeeze on the ball and lift your head. And then extend the legs out. And exhale for 5 pulses of the arms. And inhale for 5. We got a lot going on here. Now exhale and inhale. We need all of the parts of the abdominals working. So you can think of the pelvic floor, the belt, the ribs knitting around, imprinting. Exhale for 5. And inhale. We also have muscles of the legs working, holding the ball out together, holding the legs out. Muscles of the neck, holding the head up. Inhale. Exhale for 5. Inhale. And one more set. And inhale. Good. Bend your knees. Keep your neutral. Put your head down. Take the ball out and set it off to the side. One hand on each knee. Drop the knees out wide. Let them stretch for a moment there. And then nice and relaxed in the pelvic girdle and the hips. Start wiggling the legs around a little bit. It's okay if the pelvis is moving. The legs be floppy. Then start making small circles. The legs are still floppy. You're using your arms to circle the femurs around. And then reverse the circles. Nice and loose in the hips. And bring the knees in close, give them a hug. Move out to a neutral spine and lower your left foot down to the floor. I'm going to maintain the neutral by engaging the inner core and straighten the left leg out. And then pull the pubic bone to the belly button and flatten the lower back as you pull the right knee into the breastbone, keeping that left leg nice and straight, reaching the back of the left thigh down towards the mat, reaching the right knee towards the breastbone. Now back off again, so you're coming to the neutral. You're going to let your tailbone go down. There's going to be a little lumbar curve. Re-engage your pelvic floor and your belt. With your left hand on your left thigh, pull your right knee to your right armpit without tilting the pelvis. And keep your neutral pelvis, keep it centered. And then move the knee to the center, switch hands, so you're going to use your left hand and pull the knee towards the left shoulder. Keep that back of the pelvis even, no spinal twist here, just stretching outer hip capsule. Maybe the back of the leg, depending on what's tight in your body, you'll feel it differently, but this is not to twist the spine quite yet. And then return to the center. Resettle that tailbone down in the middle. Engage the weaker side of the pelvic floor first, then the stronger side, then wrap your belt. Extend the right leg up to the ceiling. Take a hold behind the leg. Point your toes, and then flex your foot back. And point, and flex, and point, and flex. Now point the toes, maintain your point. Make sure you still have your core working. I want you to imagine pulling your kneecap up your thigh, or in this case down, towards your hip socket so the leg is nicely engaged. Thumbs on the low ribs, fingers on the hip points, inner core working, ribs knitting and imprinting. Circle the leg 5 times, slowly, so that you can keep your pelvis even. You can feel with your fingertips if the pelvis is rocking. If it is, slow it down, make the movement smaller. If you do them big and sloppy, you're just going to strengthen the strong muscles. Reverse. Find your pelvic floor. Find your belt. When you're done with the second direction of 5, bend the knee. Use your left hand to pull your knee over towards the floor on the left. Now see if you can relax into the stretch. And let the abdominal muscles go. Adjust the amount of twist that you're doing. Your knee might be on the floor or maybe not, so that you're getting an appropriate amount of stretch in your hip and lower back. And adjust the position of the right arm so that you're getting an appropriate amount of stretch in your right shoulder. Okay, and then return onto the back. Bring both knees into the chest and go ahead and let the lower back flatten. Check that your shoulders and neck are relaxed, face relaxed, muscles of the abdomen relaxed for now. And we're going to move the knees away from the chest to find the neutral spine. Engage the weaker side of the pelvic floor, then the stronger side, then wrap the belt. Lower the right foot down. keeping your neutral. Extend the right leg out, keeping your neutral. And then go ahead and pull the left knee in towards the breastbone and let your pelvis tilt, your lower back flatten. Left knee towards the breastbone, right back thigh towards the floor. Now we're going to relax that hug until your neutral spine comes back into place. Right hand down on the right thigh and pull your left knee to your left armpit. Keep the pelvis even. Please don't let the pelvis tip over towards the left. And keep the right hip down. Stretch the left inner thigh. And then we'll bring the knee to the center and switch hands so that the right knee is pulling, the right hand is pulling the left knee up to the right shoulder. Again, keep the pelvis even. We're not twisting the spine yet. Keep the left hip down. Gently stretch the outer left thigh. Might feel a little stretch in the back of the leg, I mean to say. And then relax that stretch coming into the center. Feel your tailbone down. Establish your neutral spine. Stretch the left leg up and support the back of the leg. Engage the weaker side of the pelvic floor first, then the stronger. Wrap your belt around. Support your leg and flex the foot back, then point the toes up. And flex, and point, and flex, and point. Maintain your point. Draw your left kneecap towards your left hip. Reestablish that low core. Wrap the ribs around, thumbs on the low ribs, fingers on the hips. 5 slow circles. Keep that pelvis still. If it's moving, make the circles smaller and slower. You're going to get the most benefit, not by making the biggest circles, but by having the most stable base. 5 times around the other direction. Then bend the left knee and use your right hand. Pull the knee over towards the floor on the right. And again, adjust the stretch so it's serving your body the most. Find the appropriate amount of stretch in your left hip and your lower back. Adjust the left arm so that you feel a good stretch in the shoulder, not too much. Relax the belly and breathe. And then roll to the back again. And use both hands to pull both knees into the chest. And rock back and forth on the sacrum. And then let's place the feet down on the floor. And take constructive rest for a moment. Okay, we're going to turn to the stomach and place the hands under the forehead. Legs can be a little separated. See if you can find the weaker side of the pelvic floor and then the stronger side. And then wrap your belt around. Glide your ribs together. Keep your arms down on the floor and raise your chest and head up off of the mat. Feel the shoulders pull down the back. And then relax back down. Let everything relax. This time, as you engage the pelvic floor, see if you can do it without squeezing the buttocks. Again, start with the weaker side and then add the stronger side. Wrap your belt and then press down into the forearms as you glide your ribs together. Lift your chest and head. Draw the shoulders down the back. And then relax, release, soften. You'll notice if you ended up engaging your buttocks, they'll have to unclench. One more time, keeping the buttocks passive, engage the weaker half of the pelvic floor, then the stronger half. Wrap your belt and knit your ribs. Press down to the forearms as you raise the chest and the head. And then relax. Now, forehead on the floor, bring your arms down to your sides and your legs together. And we're going to do a different exercise that does require you to engage the buttocks. So I just want you to feel the difference. Sometimes, not that there are muscles that we never want to use, we just want to use them when necessary. Start by engaging the pelvic floor, weaker side first, then stronger side, wrapping the belt and knitting the ribs. So far we haven't done anything different from the previous exercise. Now we're going to add a lift of the arms and the legs as we raise the chest and the head. And I've got a lot more muscular effort going on because the task is different. And then lower back down and let everything relax. And do it again. Start with the weaker side of the pelvic floor, then the stronger, then wrap and lift everything up. Raise the chest and pull the shoulders down the back. See if you can keep the legs together, the back of the neck long. And then release back down into the floor and relax. One more time. Weaker side of the pelvic floor, then the stronger, then the belt, then the ribs, and lift. Good. Feel all those muscles that are working in the back of the body, the support and the abdominals in the front. This is not an exercise that requires you to engage your facial muscles, however. Relax the face. Nor should you feel the back of your neck engaged. It should be long. So we're still only doing what we need to do. And then lower down. Feel everything relax. And then go to a child's pose. Bring your hips back to your heels. Any position of the arms that you like. Feel that stretch coming into the lower back. Okay, let's stretch out onto the left side. Actually, get your TheraBand nearby. We're not going to use it quite yet, but let's have it handy. So we're going to stretch out long on the left side. Neck and shoulders comfortable. Feet a little forward of the hips. Take an inhale and prepare, finding your pelvic floor first. See if you can continue to access that weaker side first. Then wrap your belt. And then take an organ lift. See if you can feel the difference when you add the organ lift. And raise both legs up. And take the top leg up and down 5 times. Take the bottom leg down and up 5 times. And then lower both legs and let everything relax. Now, if there's any tension in the neck or shoulders or face, let that go. Those are not muscles that are necessary for this exercise. Again, start with the pelvic floor, weaker side, then stronger side. Find the belt. When we do that, we're still not lifting the waist. Only when we add the organ lift do you feel that real tone come into the waist. Then lift both legs up, and we'll scissor both legs forward and back 5 times. Please be aware that the hips and the ribs are maintaining a steady relationship between the two. Then return to the center. Raise the top leg a little higher and circle it 5 times in one direction. We're still not finding tension in the neck and shoulders, and reverse. If necessary, fingertips down on the mat. If necessary, bottom leg down. So good effort, but no tension. And then release back down and soften. And re-engage. First the pelvic floor, then the belt, then the organ lift. Both legs up. Externally rotate, rolling out of the hip sockets. 10 little pulses of the heels together. Staying turned out. Then go to parallel and flex the feet back. We're going to work the feet, so no tension in the neck and face. Squeeze the toes, point the feet, fan the toes, and flex them back. Squeeze, point, fan, flex, squeeze, point, fan, flex. Keep your toes open, reach out, and squeeze and pull back. Open the toes, reach out, squeeze and pull back one more time. And then lower both legs down. Completely relax. If there's tension in the upper body, release it. And then bend the knees, 45-degree hip flexion. Just relax there, soften. Place your hands on your waist and observe. I want you to keep your waist soft. Engage the pelvic floor. Wrap the belt around the hips. Keep your pelvis steady, just using those inner core muscles. No organ lift. Roll the thigh out in the socket, toes to 10 times. Please be really observant. We're going to change something in a minute, so I want you to know what this feels like. When you're done, relax. Okay, we're going to displace the bottom leg and sit up for a moment to stretch the sides. Tall through the spine. Take your right hand on your right foot and reach up with your left arm and side bend. And lower the left arm down and reach your right arm up over your ear, stretching down with your right sit bone. And again, sit tall, right hand on right foot and side bend. And lower the left forearm. Drop your right sit bone as you stretch your right side long. One more time. So we're going to pivot. Take the arms out in front. Scoop the belly. Roll down one vertebra at a time. Straighten the legs out, reach the arms up overhead. Long stretch. And then turn over so that you're lying on your right side. Legs straight. Right arm underneath your right ear, comfortable in the neck and shoulders. Feet a bit forward up the hips. Top hand on the top waist. Notice when you engage the organ lift. Don't engage the obliques prematurely. Find the pelvic floor first. Find your belt. Then do your organ lift. Should feel a difference in the waist. And lift both legs up. And take the top leg up and down 5 times. And then take the bottom leg down and up 5 times. And then both legs come down. Let them relax completely. And again, first the pelvic floor, weaker side first, and wrap the belt. Lift the organs, lift the legs. Scissor the legs forward and back 5 times. Keep the pelvis and the ribs still in relationship to each other. Into the center, lift the top leg a little higher and circle 5 times. Keep that belt snug. If you feel tension in your neck, fingertips down on the mat. And then reverse for 5. Bottom leg can go down. And then lower both legs and relax. Re-engage. First the pelvic floor, then the belt, then the organ lift. Both legs up. Externally rotate both legs out. Pulse your heels together 10 times. And then return to parallel and flex the feet back. Squeeze the toes, point the toes, fan the toes, and flex back. Neck and shoulders relax. Squeeze, point, fan, flex, squeeze, point, fan, flex, and reverse it. Keep your toes open as you reach and squeeze and pull back. Open, reach, squeeze, and pull back one more time. And then relax. And come to a comfortable bent knee position with the knees at the front of the mat. Feet down underneath you, relax. Keep the waist soft. Engage the pelvic floor. Wrap your belt around. Waist stays soft. Roll the thigh out in the socket 10 times. Keeping your belt stabilizing the pelvis. So it's not that we don't want to be well stabilized. We're just really refining the effort to use the transversus to stabilize, the external rotators to move the leg. And soften. Displace the bottom knee forward and sit yourself up. Left hand on the left foot. Reach up with the right arm and side bend. And place your right forearm down. Reach your left arm up over your ear. Stretch long through the left side, reaching your left sit bone down towards the floor. And sit up. Left hand on left foot and side bend. Stretching the right side. Right arm down. Reach up and over with the left arm and reach your left sit bone down towards the floor. And once again, left foot hand on the left foot, side bend. And other way. Keep dropping your left sit bone. And come on up tall. Now we're going to take the TheraBand. And I'd like you to wrap it snugly around the thighs. Whoops. I guess I need a new piece of TheraBand. Wrap it as snugly as you can. And then we're going to roll down, scoop the belly, and roll down one vertebrae at a time. Then let's take the feet a little bit, almost mat distance apart. Sleeves slightly turned out. Engage the inner core. So you're going to find the weak side of the pelvic floor, then the strong. Wrap the belt. And then press out into the TheraBand. And slowly resist that press. And press out. And slowly resist. Release the press. And press out. And release the press. One more time. Step the feet back in together. Now we're going to turn to the left side again. So now we're going to get to the part where more is more. If we do a more challenging movement with a more refined effort, then more is more. So we're going to engage the pelvic floor, weaker side first, then the belt, then take the organ lift, and keep your pelvis steady as you lift the right knee towards the ceiling and lower down. Now with the resistance of the band, lift and lower. Keep steadying the pelvis. When the knee goes down, keep the movement smooth. Lift and lower and lift and lower. 5 more times. Keep finding your pelvic floor, keep finding your belt, and find your organ lift. When you're done with that second set of 5, relax everything. And then bend the knees more deeply so that the feet and the knees are at the front of the mat. Tilt your right hip forward. Engage the weaker side of the pelvic floor, then the stronger. Wrap the belt. Take your organ lift. And 2 sets of 5 here as well. Rolling the right leg out in the socket. Keep the neck and shoulders relaxed. Reset and do 5 more. And then relax. Fine, then we're going to move to 0 degrees hip flexion, so opening the front of the legs out, knees are bent with the feet behind. Again, find the weaker side of the pelvic floor, then the stronger side. Wrap the belt, take your organ lift, and roll the thigh out in the socket 10 times here. Relax and move back to the first position. And re-engage the pelvic floor, the belt, the organ lift. Steady the pelvis and straighten just the top leg. Now we're going to go up and down with just the top leg, keeping it well in line. We're just going up and down. As you move up and down here, we're moving the muscle, or using the muscles in the inner thigh, all the stabilizing muscles, and also the hip extensors in the buttock. And then bend the knee, relax. Take a little spinal twist. You can drop the right knee down towards the floor in front of the left. And then open your right arm out to the side. Turn the face and look over to the right. And then release that twist, and we're going to turn to lie on the right side. Knees bent 45 degrees. Start with 0 effort in the core. Relax. Find the pelvic floor first, then the belt, then the organ lift. Steady pelvis. 10 rotations of the left leg out in the socket. Keep the neck and shoulders relaxed. Be sure when you come down, you go slow and controlled, like you're resisting the closing of the knees. Relax completely. Then let's bend to 90 degrees. And re-engage. Pelvic floor, belt, organ lift, and 10 rotations here. Pelvis completely still. You don't have to go too high. When you're done, completely relax. And open the front of the hips. 0-degree hip flexion. Knees are still bent, so the feet are behind you. Pelvic floor. Belt. Organ lift. And roll out of the socket. 2 sets of 5. Pelvis completely still. When you're done, relax and move the knees back into the first position. And reset. Pelvic floor, belt, organ lift. Take just the top leg and straighten it out. And then 10 times lifting that top leg up and down. Don't let it go forward and back at all. Keep the pelvis steady, keep the organ lift steady. So if you feel between your ribs and your hips, there's no movement in the waist there. When you're done, bend the knee. And we'll just place the left knee down. And then open out. Take the left arm out to the side. Turn the face to the left. And we're going to turn over onto the stomach. We still have the band on the legs. Hands under the forehead. Take your legs as wide as the mat. Engage the inner core. Draw your ribs together. Press down to the forearms. Raise the chest and the head. And then keep the feet as wide as the mat and lift both legs up and lower them down. And again, lift and lower. Keep the legs as wide as the mat and lift and lower. And then relax the forehead down. The legs are still as wide as the mat, but relax. We're going to do that again. Find the pelvic floor, weaker side first, then the belt, then the ribs. Press down to the forearms, raise the chest and the head. Lift both legs up, keep them as wide as the mat, and lower. And lift, and lower, and lift. Lower, and bring the forehead down. Relax, the legs are still as wide as the mat, but soften completely. And we're going to do that one more time. Set, pelvic floor, weaker side first. Belt, ribs, press down to the forearms, raise the chest and the head. Lift both legs up, and lower. And lift, and lower, and lift. And lower, and forehead down. Bring the feet closer together. You can slip your band off and then turn onto your back and bring your knees into your chest. And rock a bit from side to side. And then we're going to go through the abdominal series. So first, find your neutral spine. Engage the pelvic floor, weaker side first. Wrap the belt. Reach your ribs to the opposite back pockets. Imprint the back ribs and lift your head. And take the single leg stretch, extending one leg out. And switch. Both hands are on the bent leg. Neutral spine. Good. You'll find that if you really use the lower abdominals well, it doesn't take so much effort to hold the head up. And then let's transition to the double leg stretch. Exhale, reach both arms and both legs away from the center, maintaining your neutral. Bend the knees and come back in. We're not going to a flat back. Pelvic floor, belt, ribs knitting, imprinting. Inhale, come back in without flattening. Exhale, stretch out. Inhale, back in. Twice more. And go to the single straight leg. Check back in with your low core muscles. One leg at a time. To the ceiling. Scissoring. Both legs straight. Chin to the chest. Elbows wide. Shoulders dropped. neutral spine. And both legs up. Support your head. Gently press the back of your head down into your hands. Re-engage your pelvic floor, your belt. Knit and imprint your ribs. Keep your neutral spine as you bring the legs down. And lift them back up. Maintain the neutral, please. No flat back. Lower down, no arching. Come back up, no flat back. Neutral spine. Bend the knees and we'll crisscross. Nice big turning of the whole shoulder girdle. So you're reaching with your armpit across to the bent knee as you bicycle. And then bring your knees to the chest. Place your head down. Gently push the back of the head down. And then relax. Bring the feet down to the floor and use the small ball or your folded towel in your hands. I'm going to float the arms up towards the ceiling, the ball above the breastbone. Feel your neutral spine. Re-engage pelvic floor. Weaker side first, then belt, then tilt the pelvis. Knit and imprint your ribs. Straighten one leg out and the other leg out, keeping your back flat. Reach your arms back towards the wall behind you. Scoop your belly in, and then we're going to roll up, drawing the belly to the spine, and lifting one vertebra at a time. And then come forward and stretch. Relax the neck and shoulders, bend your elbows. Lengthen from your breastbone, from your pubic bone to your breastbone. Stretch down the legs without humping the upper back. And sit tall. Hold the ball in front of the breastbone. Regather the pelvic floor, the belt. Tilt the pelvis. And roll down. Knit your ribs around so you can come one vertebra at a time through the whole spine. Again, one vertebra at a time. Keeping your back flat until you're reached all the way behind you with your arms. Then let's relax. And set it all up again. Pelvic floor. Belt. Pelvic tilt. Scooping in the belly as you imprint the ribs. Arms float up and roll. And then as you hang down, neck and shoulders relaxed. Chest stays open. And take it down again. Hold the ball in front of the breastbone, pelvic floor, belt, tilt the pelvis, scooping the belly in, knitting, imprinting the ribs as you get down towards the mat. Then reach back. And then lengthen. One last time. Start from the base of the abdominal engagement, the pelvic floor, scoop the belly, and roll yourself up. And then lengthen forward in the stretch. Be sure you relax the upper body. Sit tall, put the ball off to the side, and bend the knees. And take an easy forward bend. Neck and shoulders relaxed. And then sit up. All right, that'll do it. So hope you could feel how it's important to focus in on the different parts of the muscles. Not that we don't always sometimes want to make a maximum effort, but make sure that that maximum effort doesn't skip the foundation, the basis of the pelvic floor and the transverses always. All right, enjoy this cold gray day. Library cocktail hour is virtual and Barefoot Ladies are singing I think around 6 o'clock, so I'm sure it's not too late to get that link if you want to have some nice indoor Memorial Day weekend activity this afternoon. Okay, thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.